What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and yeah, let's get straight into the weekly review. Now we are going into the new month of July, so that's quite exciting, and that means we should probably start on the monthly and get an idea of how we want to see the month close. Now hopefully you've watched Saturday's video. If you haven't watched Saturday's video, you'll be able to see my you'll be able to see a more higher time frame analysis of where I want to see price draw to. But generally speaking, I'm looking for an up close month, meaning that I want to see the low get made in the first week, if not the second week, and I'm looking for these highs to get traded to right here. This is my draw and liquidity right there, and then eventually up into these highs. So I do want to see an up close week. Another thing to take note of is that we're coming off of this low from May. The fact that we've taken out that low is nice to me. I'm happy we've done that, which is even more reason why I want to see an up close month. So what does that mean? Well, it means for the first week or two, I do want to see the low get made. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if we saw a potential down close week. So let's go to the weekly. Now remember, my draw liquidity is up here. So ideally, yes, I want to see an up close week. However, the fact that we've had up close weeks now for 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutively, with this one keying off a weekly bearish order block like so. I'll just show you that. So the fact that we've had this says to me that we probably shouldn't go in with too much confidence that we're going to have an up close week. If anything, I would rather see a down close week, purely because we've had 4 up close weeks, we're coming off a weekly bearish order block, and I want to see the low get made off this month in the first week. So there's all of that to take into account. So with that kept in mind, what do we have? Well, we have a nice clear discount PD array right here to trade into. This can be used as a bearish fair value gap. So let's make this red. So if we are straight lower, this is where I'm going to be looking for us to trade down into. And then in terms of the highest I want to see price trade, it's probably going to be the 50% level of this wick right here. So let's get that drawn out, and then at least then we have a range to work with. This is what we call consequent encroachment. And ideally, for me to remain bearish this week, remember I'm only talking about this week, for me to remain bearish, we need to stay below this level. And you know, if we're going to create the high, the very highest I want to see it go is right here. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on the weekly. If we're looking for a down close week as well, what does that mean? We want to see the high get made on Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, with the low being reached for Thursday through Friday. Now remember, there is high impact news this week. We have non-farm payroll. I think we have some other news as well. Let me just double check. I probably should have started with that, guys, but no worries. Let's find out. So this week we have high impact news on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with FOMC minutes, and then Friday. So it is going to be a very volatile week, and we may be, considering we have high impact news on the Monday, means we might see a lot of movement off the rip. But nonetheless, we still want to get the high get made, see the high get made early in the week, and I'd like to think we can move lower for the rest of the week. But definitely be careful stepping into this week, because like I said, with non-farm payroll and all such, we'll likely see a lot of manipulation coming up as we move towards the Wednesday. So now let's drop down to the daily, and you can see how we've just pretty much been stopped in our tracks as we traded into that. Remember, this is a weekly bearish order block level. But if we're looking to deliver lower, again, we need to think about where the high may want to get made. Now we have some beautiful relative equal highs above right here, and there's that consequent encroachment I was talking about. So let's get that marked out as potential buy side liquidity. Ideally, we don't take out this buy side. I'd like to think that we don't have to do that. If this gets left untouched, that would be ideal for me, because one, it's showing that weekly bearish order block, this black level, is acting correctly, and it's pointing towards, you know, bearish nature, which is what we wanted to see for us to start trading into the discount. And again, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll know that there's a few fair value gaps I want to see if we can trade through, one being here on the 4 hour and one being here. So these are all targets in general for us to trade down into, and I'll be keeping a close eye on these. But obviously it's best to let Monday trade first, as per usual, and then from then on we can start to home in and be a little bit more specific. Sorry, these are daily fair value gaps, not 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour now, however, and take a closer look, and you'll see quite ugly consolidation, but it is bearish in nature in that we failed to take out that high. We have displacement here, and I'll be watching this inversion fair value gap in the new week. So if price turns around at this point here, I'd be happy to expect shorts and low prices to start running down into these daily fair value gaps. The only reason I mark this out is because we haven't had a clear break in market structure yet. I'm looking for this low to get taken for that. Because we haven't had that clear break, technically we should still remain bullish, meaning that we should still anticipate and allow price to get up here. But I do believe that this 4-hour inversion fair value gap is going to help provide, it'll help give us an earlier hint as to where price likely wants to draw to. So let's get that marked out as 4-hour inversion FVG, and then that's pretty much everything. So what am I expecting? Well, again, I'd like to see a down close week because I want to see the low get made, and because we've had like 4 consecutive up close weeks, and we've just traded into a weekly bearish order block. Ideally, we don't trade above this buy side liquidity in the new week. In fact, let's get rid of this consequent encroachment. I'm just going to leave this here I want to see this get left untouched, and I'm going to obviously see how price acts around this 4-hour inversion fair value gap, because if we find resistance, that should set us up to start looking for this low. As soon as we break that low, and as long as we do it with aggression and momentum, I'm happy to be bearish on dollar for this week. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that level. Let's now head on to GBP USD. So if we're expecting, let me get rid of my drawings. If we're expecting an up close month on dollar and a down close week on dollar, that means we should expect a down close month on pound and an up close week on pound. So generally, again, if you watch Saturday's video, you'll know about this, but I'm looking for pound to start reaching down into this level right here. Completely fine. So yeah, let's go to the weekly and take a closer look. Again, 4 consecutive down close weeks. We should probably be very careful about expecting any more down close weeks. If anything, we want to see some kind of retracement or pullback. Now, where could price potentially pull to? Well, we have a nice bearish order block right here. This is the open of it, so let's definitely get that chart drawn out, and we'll write weekly bearish order block. And like I said, if we see dollar trade on lower at the beginning of the week, where are we? Oh no, my bad. Right, we're looking for an up close week, right? In terms of targets for premium, then it'll be this weekly bearish order block. So I'd like to think that price can make its way up there, but that means we need to create a discount because we need some kind of low of the week. So where could that form? Well, there is a slight gap right here on the weekly that may want to get filled, and then we may want to expand higher and start reaching for the premium PD array, which is that weekly bearish order block. So let's just get that made clear. We have the weekly bearish order block there, and then we have a fair value gap in the discount. So if we see rallying on dollar early in the week to create the high, assuming we are going to have a down close week on dollar, this is all assuming that, that means we want to see GBP trade down into a discount and then use it to reverse. So this is the fair value gap because it's between this high and this low. There's only been upside delivery, so you may want to try and fill that, and then I'll look at how it treats it, and if we come out of it, I'll be then thinking about that weekly bearish order block as a potential trade higher, and then there's an implied fair value gap there as well. Now let's drop down to the daily and see what we can find. So again, quite consolidated, we're kind of stuck in a range. This is that fair value gap I was talking about. If this gets left open, ideal again, because it shows bullishness, and that's what we need if we want to see price retrace back into its range, right? So this fair value gap on the daily, I do want to see get left open. This one's fine to fill, and then I'd be thinking again about that weekly bearish order block as a premium for us to create the high. Let's go to the 4-hour, take a closer look. I'm going to get rid of this inversion fair value gap, and then we'll find there's a small gap right here just above that bearish weekly order block that may be maybe used as a nice premium PD array for price to trade to once we get that weekly reversal. So I'm not trading until we see that reversal, and to be honest, I might not trade at all because of non-farm payroll and UK elections. Remember, I've never been in the markets during an election season, so it's going to be really interesting to see how much that affects it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But generally speaking, low risk, low probability, but ideally we do see a reversal start to fall, as in I want to see the low get made Monday, Tuesday, and then start to see clear displacement to the upside running into Wednesday, Thursday, and obviously non-farm payroll. These highs are looking absolutely gorgeous. This is the first fair value gap I see above that weekly bearish order block, and it lines up with this breaker here, last down close candle. So there is reason for price to trade up there. Again, this is assuming we want to see an up close week, because we want the high of the month to be getting made around this time of year. Around this time of the month. So yeah, pretty simple. I just want to see if price can drop lower a little bit, and then I'll be looking closely for reversals. I wouldn't be surprised if we were held in quite a strong consolidation, so do be careful, guys. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. But you know how I usually trade. I usually like to let Monday do its thing, and then we could usually home in and be a lot more specific as we get deeper into the week. So finally, let's finish up on Euro USD. Clear my charts. All the screenshots from Saturday's video are in the Discord. Make sure to join the Discord, and if you haven't already, join the mailing list as well. I will be posting to that very soon. Again, we're expecting a down close month with these lows as a target. So that means we want to see the high of the month get made in the first 2 weeks, ideally the first week. What do we have? We have a clear fair value gaps trade up to for a nice premium. So that would be nice to create the high in of the week, of the month, assuming we're bearish on the monthly. And then now we need to start thinking about bearish PD arrays that we may want to key off. We have a nice bullish, oh no, this isn't a bullish order block. Yeah. So this is where I'm looking for price trade up into this week, because remember, I'm expecting an up close. And what's interesting is that Euro is a little bit stronger because we can see they closed higher last week as opposed to the previous weeks. So we had three down closed candles, and then finally one up close. So there's no reason for us not to anticipate more if we want to see that high of the month get made. So I do want to see up close, meaning that we need to look for some kind of discount PD arrays, ideally in this range, for us to trade into to create the low of the week. So let's go to the daily, and you can see we've already opened and are trading quite nicely higher. And then we have this bullish order block right here that may be sensitive to price, and then I'll also mark out the midpoint of that as well, because that's what we call mean threshold, and price should be sensitive to that. So let's get that drawn out like so. Now any lower is fine. Again, we have these relative equal lows just like we saw on dollar with the relative equal highs. Ideally, remember, ideally we don't trade into them. It will show a level of bullishness, which I did want to see. It can do it, and if it does it, so be it. But ideally, I'd like to think that we don't trade down into this sell side yet. I'm happy for us to come anywhere in this range, but I want to see this sell side left untouched. So let's go to the 4 hour, and again, clear consolidation. Definitely watch Saturday's video if you haven't already. I spoke a lot about these lows, and I looked at divergence as well against other pairs. But nonetheless, I'll be looking at this consolidation to see, can it hold itself? If it can hold itself, I'm happy to think, and I'm happy to follow the idea that this could create the low of the week with the high being here, and then I'll start looking for potential resistance, assuming we want to see a down close month. So that's everything for the weekly review. Hope that all makes weekly forecast. Hope that all makes sense. Obviously, again, let Monday trade, and then we home in and get a lot more specific. But you saw how much news we have this week with non-farm payroll, elections on GBP, and you can see there's also high impact news on Euro as well. So yeah, a very dangerous week ahead, but it should be fun nonetheless. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to smash subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.